Greetings, welcome back to Ministry Monday. I'm Carlton Coon. I apologize for being out of pocket here for several weeks. Hopefully going forward we can be with you each Monday morning. A real quick mention, we're in the second cycle of our Disciple Makers training course. It has been well received. The participants have expressed that they have gained in many ways in regard to what it will take to keep converts in their church, and several are working towards specific strategies for their congregation. It is now an open enrollment. You could get started with the Disciple Makers training course today. If you're interested, message me, or you can just click the link below today's video and it will take you to the website and the course information. I do have a gift for you today. If you will share this Ministry Monday on your page, I will send you, no cost to you, my ebook on the how and why of new convert care. Normally sells for $9.99, but I'm kind of interested in expanding what I'm going to be talking about the next couple of weeks, because I'm going to be talking very specifically about more effectively feeding the flock of God. And I think it's a message that deserves to be heard. Now, any doctor will tell you that a significant part of your health is based on nutrition. You are what you eat. And I think the same is spiritually true for the people who I pastor. The next week, this week and next week, I want to talk about this from two different perspectives. Both of these are unhealthy. I'm going to talk about skinny sheep this week, and then next week I'll talk about flabby sheep. Ezekiel 34 contains God's indictment of the bad shepherds of Israel. Included in that, in Ezekiel 34 verse 3, you eat the fat, you kill them that are fed, but you feed not the flock. And it is kind of a repetition of what is stated in the second verse as well. The message was that a shepherd was obligated to feed the flock. So the charge against a bad shepherd was that they did not take responsibility, personal responsibility, for the sheep being well nourished. Well, the first notice, all of Ezekiel 34, really, the first part of it anyway, deals with bad shepherds. But the first thing that's pointed out by the Lord is how that they do not feed the flock of God. Consider those words, does not feed, does not feed. It indicates lack of health. Last year, 226,000 students in Missouri took advantage of Missouri providing a free breakfast. It indicates that there's inadequate food at the house, that they would begin their school day undernourished and perhaps malnourished if something were not provided for them. What is the cause when we do not do a good job at feeding the flock of God, when we leave them undernourished or malnourished? Well, the first thing I think is that sometimes I don't have a sense of what is healthy or what might be edifying. I can come and just give an information dump that has no real objective of moving people from where they are to another place and moving them forward. The second thing that perhaps we can fall into is really not being concerned whether the message is understood or not. Well, where there has been no learning, has there been any teaching? Where there is no understanding, has there been any preaching? And then the third thing that probably comes into play for many of us is that there's too little Monday stuff in our Sunday stuff. And the message is so religious that it incites enthusiasm and exuberance on Sunday, but it doesn't affect the reality that people deal with. And there's never any addressing of depression, of loneliness, of despair, of the challenge of raising kids or how to keep a job. At times somebody has a health problem that results in them being too slender. And certain diseases or anorexia can cause that. But there's a risk with being too slender. One is there's no margin for error. Infection comes and there's just nothing to fight at all. Second, there's no endurance in the person. There is no strength in them. For the saints of God, and we who are responsible to feed them, it should not be so. There are not many skinny sheep where a pastor will consistently put biblical substance into people's lives. So, how's it done? Let me give you several thoughts. One is expositional preaching and teaching your way through a book of the Bible, verse by verse, bringing understanding of what was being communicated. The second that has worked for me is character study. David's a man after God's own heart. Simon Peter has the keys to the kingdom. Paul, the life of Christ, all of those things. And then topics, thirdly. Everything the Bible has to say about the oneness of God. Everything the Bible has to say about speaking in tongues. And then I mentioned it a number of times, 20 topics that I try to teach on 2 times and preach on 2 times each year. And you can likely come up with others. But having a structured idea of what you will do to edify the flock is what we're reaching for. Okay, next week we'll talk about flabby sheep. Don't forget, I do have a gift for you today. If you share this Ministry Monday on your page, our team will make sure you get the ebook, The How and Why of New Convert Care. And that normally sells, I think, for $9.99. Don't be an Ezekiel 34 kind of shepherd. I'll see you next week. Feed his sheep.